Flex, the livest one in the section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker, change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. I'm laughing, man. I'm laughing, man. Man, let me just bring y'all up to speed, man. Look, first of all, let me say what's up to the family in the building. You already know what time it is. LDBC Strong, Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Hate us, love to hate us, makes no difference. We are exponential in growth. Salute to all the family. King Corleone, Isaiah Felix, Mark Wunderlich, Josh, Shemaine Callahan, Brill Hill, Opera LD, Steve L, the Mac. That's right, we moving, baby. Condo, what up? My brother Jeff Spark in the building. Sheena, Cortez, what up? Ad Solo, Bruce Gas, the OG, salute. Adrian Vent. My sister Sheena, yeah, there you go. See, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? Robert Singleton, my brother CB Sports TV in the building. Woke, what up? Big Easy, salute. Jake Grant. Tone Brown, what up, baby? How you? Smash the like button. Let's talk some boxing here. We're gonna go in order. But first and foremost, I want to give a big MP. What the fuck? What's good? A big shout out to our brother Combat Tool Bag. You know, he went in there, he didn't get it done, but it's okay. You know, you fail forward and it's all good. We do not abandon ship. We support our own. You know what I mean? And you learn. It's boxing, baby. We all know what time it is. Bernard Hopkins, he lost his what? First or second pro fight? Doesn't matter. Although we can't stand him as a promoter, the man has a Hall of Fame career. What you do with this is up to you. You know what I mean? But whatever you choose to do, your support is right here. You dig? That's family right there. Shout out to our brother Combat Toolbag. He's good. And salute to Kano Loco, man. Salute to our brother Kano Loco. Salute. Dwayne Jones, Master Khalik. Salute. Yes, sir. So, you know, we had a pretty good night of boxing. I'm going to tell you what I enjoyed, and I'm going to tell you what I enjoyed out of pure comedy. Oh, man. That's right, Shemaine. Bounce back, come back stronger. You know what I'm saying? You fail forward. Nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to learn. So you fail forward. It's all good. But what I'm saying is the support is right here. It ain't going nowhere. Ain't no fence riders over here. You heard? Playboy Plays, my brother, salute. No doubt. That's right, the Condo. When he's champion, we're going to be right here still. Talking about, yo, you remember that little mishap? That's all it was, because that shit ain't happening again. You heard? Black Alpha, salute. So let's talk about the good from last night. There was like a lot of boxing last night, but I just want to focus on these two fights right here. First and foremost, I put a video out earlier about this young king named, you may have heard of him, Xander Zayas. Yo, listen, man. Listen. I'll tell you something right now. Zayas is a gem. How could you not like this kid, man? That's right, Bruce. Yep. Every great fighter has an L. The GOAT has an L. Has a couple of L's. You understand? He's still the GOAT. Did Ray Robinson win everything? Nope. And if he got out the game, I'm guaranteeing you the fighters that got out the game undefeated, there were some things that people could say, you know what, he got out the game, but he could have did this, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do this, and you know, so whatever. So let's talk about Xander. You know what's scary? Dr. Mark in the building. You know what's scary about Xander? D-Man Jr., salute. He's only 19. He's 19, y'all. NBA D-Nice, salute. He's only 19. And he's in there boxing like, isn't he boxing like a well-trained 35-year-old? I want you to understand something about that. Yeah, Tone. Yeah, Tone, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. Dexter, what up? I want you to understand something about that first knockdown, y'all. Because I've watched it over and over and over, and y'all understand. Y'all remember when Tank said the punch he hit Rolly with, he didn't even throw hard? Rolly just ran into his fist. What Tank did to Rolly was repetition. That's just work in the gym. That was second nature. Zayas just threw the combo to finish it off. Didn't even throw it. He ran right into it, man. I was like, oh, shit. Now, he could have kept it up with some of those punches low, belt line, a couple of them kind of. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't doing it on purpose, to my knowledge. He wasn't doing it on purpose, but never mind that. Because he didn't knock him out with a body shot. Antonio, what up? Let me tell you something. This kid, Xander, very impressive. The sensei's in the building, and I wanted to hear the sensei cook on this. But listen, when he threw that punch, it was like, didn't it seem like he knew where it was gonna land? Right, what up? Right into it. And what impressed me was he didn't get excited and try to finish him off and shit. I don't know who's training him, but that's a combination of training and discipline. And for a kid to be that disciplined at 19, now did he do everything perfect? No, but I didn't see anything to critique. I didn't see anything in that fight to say, hey man, you know, he could have did this better, he could have did, no. And let me tell you something. His opponent wasn't coming in there to lay down. Because you know what everybody's thinking when they get in there with him? If you 25, 26 years old, get in the ring with a 19-year-old, what are you thinking? He ain't even got his man strength yet. I can't lose to this motherfucker. He went in there, he was grunting with every punch. You heard him, you heard it. I was like, oh, okay. Perfect punch. Nice and paused. Like he was poised. He wasn't like rushing. He let it come to him. He got rounds in. This kid, I was very impressed. And what's scary is he's 19. He speaks Spanish. He speaks perfect English. He's a handsome young man, very marketable. Y'all know Puerto Ricans back their fighters. The Puerto Rican stateside, they're going to back him. Can you imagine what next year's Puerto Rican Day, that the weekend of the parade? Can you imagine? He has to fight at MSG. No exceptions. Xander Zayas has to fight at MSG. Can you imagine the MSG card? Next year, Puerto Rican Day Parade? Amanda Serrano? Xander Zayas? Forget it. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Sold. I'm sold. This kid is very impressive. Now, I know. Sometimes, we back fighters and then they start doing some dickhead shit down the road. I know. But I'm just saying I'm dealing with it now. This kid is very impressive. This kid is very disciplined. Moving forward, we're gonna see how he behaves when he fights. Sweet T, salute. Robert Singleton, Andrew Charles, salute. We're gonna see how he behaves when competition gets better. But as it stands right now, he's doing everything correct. Now he's with Top Rank, and you know how the matchmakers are. So we know he's gonna be in the ring with a lot of ham and eggers. But as long as he's doing what he's supposed to do against them, then I'm cool with that. Duke Top, salute. I'm cool with that. But y'all know how the business is. When he gets high in rankings and he's right in line to fight a champion, the way things are now, I don't want to hear, oh, okay, well, this champion, although he's a champion, he don't sell these seats and I don't want to hear that. All right, but we'll deal with that as it comes. But right now, this kid gets an A on my card. Sensei, Xander Zayas, your thoughts?
Pump the brakes.
Give it to me.
He did what he was supposed to do against an opponent that was picked for him to do it against. But even with the person that he was in there with last night, he got hit with punches that he was not supposed to be getting hit with. He was getting hit clean. The guy didn't have an ounce of power to hurt him or to put him in jeopardy, which made him even braver. He's definitely a tooled and schooled young man at his age. He's very advanced, and I like that. But I hope that they're able to take him from that performance last night and settle him down a bit. Because just because he may have thought or felt like the guy can't hurt him, you can get hurt by a shot you don't see. A guy can throw a shot at the right time, catch you at the right angle, this, that, and the third, and then you got a situation. Or you can run into a situation where you get a bad cut. That where you are in this stage of your career, you don't need a bad cut early in your career like that, because as your career goes on, the cuts open up more and more and more.
More easily.
So there are things that I saw last night that I didn't like at all. And I spoke about them on my post-fight for a little bit, but my post-fight didn't focus on the matches as much as it focused on what surrounded what we were presented with last night. Now, let's take the young fighter, and I'm not getting off of Xander, but I'm using an example. Troy Isley, who faced, Tony last night and was given a very good challenge, which he came out on top, which you want to see, but it wasn't made easy for him.
Right.
And he didn't have all the answers. He was just a little bit better than that guy he was in there with last night. And that's something that they can really build on, because as I've stated so many times, when you have a fighter that has ability, it's one thing, he can punch, he could get somebody out of there if he gets them in trouble or something. But now you want to start building in other areas. You want to build in the areas of how does he adjust? How does he not blow himself out as he has X amount of rounds to work with? You want someone that if he's moving away from him, he wants to know how to cut the ring off properly, track the guy down. You want someone that if they got a little pop on their punches, that he knows how to defend against that. What I like that Tony was doing last night against Isley is like when Isley was punching at him, he was knocking his punches down and trapping them and carrying them. That's old school technique. I love that. Anytime a fighter has the wherewithal to be able to do those kind of things, he can stay in a fight all night long because he could be right in front of you and you can't hit him. And when you can't hit the guy, it plays with your mind if you don't have the wherewithal to make the proper adjustments.
You're talking about parrying. That's a very old school technique.
Absolutely.
Not everybody could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not just because not everybody can do it. It's not taught anymore. It's not taught like that. And see, when you're doing that in a match, you could go forward, you could go backwards, you could move side to side. All you got to do is give a guy a slight angle. Do you know if I'm standing in front of you and I take a half step over, it automatically has put something in your mind, because you don't know if I took a half step over because I see an opening. You don't know if I took a half step over because I'm getting out of your way. You don't know if I took that half step over because I'm waiting on you to do something so I can counter. There's a number of things that are at play here. Xander went in very reckless, and he never cleaned that up. He never did. Even in the midst of when the fight initially got stopped, remember, we look at a guy who looks good, right? And he's like, man, he's looking like $1 million. And that's all you see. But are you seeing the package that the $1 million comes in?
Right. Well, that's why I said he's 19 and there's room to grow. And as the competition gets stiffer as he moves up the rankings, I want to see what he's made of. But as it pertains to last night, he looked good.
That's what I'm saying. He did what he was supposed to do against the guy that they matched him up with, but there was still some bad things there. And that's what you don't want to eliminate. Listen, I would rather tell it like it is than to be on a hope dream. Okay? Yes. There's an experience of circumstances that can give lesson to this. His name was Fernando Vargas.
Talk on it.
Fernando Vargas was a prodigy. He was damn good. But one of the things that main events and the Duvas had a problem with was sometimes just throwing fighters in bad. Okay? When you know you got something, you build upon it. You don't cash in the chips. And with Fernando, they rolled the dice. He was young, just like Xander.
Yeah.
He was. And before he was 30, he was done.
Man.
You see? So when I say these things, I don't say them because I'm hating on somebody or whatever. I'm looking at it with an honest assessment of what can, put it like this. Everybody that's in the top 5 at 154 right now, and we're not talking about the champ. Everybody that's in the top 5, number 1 through 5, under the champ, knocks that kid out right now inside of 6 or 7 rounds. That's real talk. As good as he is. But you want that gap to close with him becoming more proficient in defending himself.
Yes.
Knowing when to pick it up, when to lay it down. I'll give you another example. We just watched an excellent performance by Bam Rodriguez against Soren Visai.
Right.
That kid boxed Soren Visai's shorts off. And Sora has been in there with guys like Chocolatito and Estrada.
Yeah.
And had hellified battles. But that kid took him to school so much, it was like Sora was kind of like,
he looked like he didn't belong there with him.
It became a mental deficit for him because, first of all, he couldn't believe the kid was boxing as good as he did.
Yeah.
But he stayed within himself in doing it. He wasn't reckless. He didn't give Sora one chance. Not one. Because all he needed was one. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We want Xander to be able to close that gap like that. I used this in my earlier show. I used it in the post fight last night. That's why I love Nazim Richardson, man. I love that brother. You know, we lost him too soon because he has so much more to share and teach. He used to have this phrase that say, swim without getting wet. In boxing, Tay Jones is out there. Salute to Tay Jones. He knows what it means when you say swim without getting wet. That's what you want to be able to do. You could be in there and be engaged, but they can't do nothing with you because they can't lay a hand on you. Mm-hmm. You're not available for receipts, but you're dishing out dimes every chance you get, and they don't have an answer for it. And you could raise hell like a son of a gun at one moment and make them think that you're getting ready to go, and then you kind of, no, not yet, because this is a stew, and it's going to brew a little bit. And then you take them, and then when you do finish, it's done. There's no question. That's how you want a young charge like that to get. And he can get there. I'm not saying this as if he cannot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. There's a difference.
I'm just saying,
yes,
keep the eye on that, because that's where we want to see the progression. And if you're not seeing that progression, they might have to bring some other people in or whatever, because he's definitely a blue chipper. But yes, you want someone to be able to take him from here to here. Those are my thoughts on that.
Nah, I agree. Just so I'm clear, last night he did what he was supposed to do against somebody he was supposed to do it to. Could he jump in there and be a champion tomorrow? No. But as far as the lower rankings, there's a spotlight on him, and so far he's performing. But of course, there's things that he has to clean up. But so far, so good. And as it stands right now, being that he stands out, he's doing what he's supposed to do against those guys in the lower rankings. And so far, I love what I see. The marketability, the support of his Puerto Rican people, that's already there. So now as he moves up the ranks, you're absolutely right. Now it's time to fine-tune the tools that he has already. Salute to Josiah Matthews in that super chat. Much love. He said, "What's fam? Keep cooking, LDBC for life, man." Salute to you, brother. Much love and appreciation. Yeah. What would you like to see from him by the time early or mid 2024? Where do you see him? Granted that he's moved along by those brilliant matchmakers at Top Rank.
Well, I think like for his next fight, he needs to be in there with a banger. Mm-hmm. And his game plan against the banger should be to box him. To box him, not bang with him. Go in there, work on your boxing, give angles, keep up those combinations, because he's got some fluid combinations. That's what you really like when you see.
Yeah, I did like those. I like those. Yeah,
the fluid combinations. But he's got to get the head off of center line when he throws the right hand, because let's put it like this: the way he throws his right hand now is like he could throw a jab, right hand, left hook, and because his hand speed and his youth, he could get you before you get him. But a fighter who has good timing, when he throws his jab and right hand, if you throw your right hand, you're going to hit him because he's right there. Right. He's right there. Mm-hmm. Experienced fighters get their head off of center line. And those are the kind of things he needs to work on. But being matched up against a banger, not a guy with fast feet, but a guy with plodding feet, so he can move, so he can get around. See, those are the kind of things you put him in scenarios that he will eventually face. But you put him in where he still has the advantages, but he has to use his other tools to be victorious.
Make him use them. So they have to mix up his opposition to get him ready for that top five. Mix it up, see what he's made of. Put him in there with a pure boxer.
When Shakur fought Nakatila, the African brother, the guy was strong, you know, and he had a hard punch. He didn't have like a power punch, but he's heavy-handed. And he's not as athletic as Shakur was, but Shakur beat him easily, dropped him a couple of times. And remember the criticism that Ward and Bradley were giving of him, he could have did more of this or that.
Yeah.
That was the first kind of fight that he had been in with someone that had those type of attributes. Now, because he came out with flying colors, this is why I said when he fought Valdez, he was supposed to stop Valdez, not just be satisfied with earning the decision.
Yeah.
Because he had already been in there with a guy who was a threat that could hurt him. Valdez was not a threat to hurt him because he had already beaten back the aggression of Valdez with his jab and making him run into shots and making Valdez miss shots. So his frustrations were there. If he had just turned the heat up on him a little bit more, he would have quit.
That's a true story. That's a true story. And that's why they kind of tore Shakur a new one, but that's another conversation. Tone Brown, salute. He said, I would like to see Xander Zayas versus Charles Conwell. Yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. I'm still kind of heated with Charles Conwell. For y'all go on my page and put his name up, and y'all see why I'm kind of upset with him. It's business purposes, though. You know, faking injuries and stuff. Rampage says, Sweet Tea, salute. Paul Carrick, salute. Dan, I see you. Xander versus Truck Simpson. Speaking of which, let's segue into that a little bit. Everybody, I trust everybody watching me right now is subscribed to Blue Blood. If y'all not, y'all are crazy. Stormy, you know what happened this weekend with Mickey Bay? And
no, I heard the fight got canceled, but I didn't get a chance to catch the details.
Man, based off of what I've seen, because I was watching some of the video today, Tevin Farm and Mickey Bay, they were all set to go, but they were waiting on some bread, and the bread never showed up. I think, and OTB, salute, I see you, family. Y'all got to fill in the blanks for me because I was like running around and taking care of stuff while trying to listen. Yo, the boxing section, I saw him on ESPN yesterday. Salute, fam. He was right there. I saw him on ESPN. Isaiah, what up? Yeah, y'all got to bring me up to speed. Yeah, Johnny Q. Yeah, it was crazy. Also, I think Devin showed up, and was it Truck? He was all wrapped up and ready to go, and there was no bread for him. That whole event got fucked off. And, you know, from what I've seen, bits and pieces, I don't know 100%. And I don't want to misquote anything, but Tevin and Mickey Bay couldn't get it on because, was the commission ain't getting no bread or something? Somebody ain't getting no money. They couldn't fight. Devin tried to save the Truck fight, and I think he had the cash right there, like cash in hand right there. But it was crazy. And these are things that you know, this is bad, man. This is all bad.
Do you think, Drew, and chat, and anybody else out there listening, I don't mean to come across as a conspiracy theorist, but do you think that was done to them on purpose because they had drummed up such an interest online with the audience that follow boxing like we do and being on our platforms and everything, that someone behind the scenes may have said, you know what, we're going to show them and let everything go right to the door and then pull the carpet out from under them? Because remember, there was a surge of interest in this, and it picked up a lot of heat late last week, and everyone was looking forward to this.
Yeah,
I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just wasn't able to keep my eye on all the details. But I'm just like, you know what? Sometimes you have to understand that this is kind of like a way of them saying, stay in your place.
Yeah, I did think of that. I'm glad you mentioned it. Y'all remember we almost had Gary Russell versus Devin Haney, and that fight was made right here on YouTube. I mean, I wasn't directly involved.
What's happening, Drew, is this, and it can't be not denied. You said this so many times. We are becoming more important than people really realize.
Yes, sir.
And we have the type of influence that can change the state of the game. But we have to stay on one accord. We have to stay consistent. And we have to be about the business of things. Because a number of things can happen. That Paulie Malignaggi and Showtime thing happened as a result of the community rallying. The whole thing about the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder thing, as much as they try to cover that up, don't talk about it, and all of that stuff, they would say negative things and throw it in Deontay's lap. Like, oh, he's made all these complaints and this and that. It wasn't that. It's just that you all weren't really covering the real story. And we were. And there's no matter how much you tried to hide it and act like it don't exist, and it don't, because why did so many people, professional fighters, network anchors, and everyone stay on the same page about every single freaking detail of things that were not so obvious? In the obvious, they all ignore it at the same time. You have to say, something's wrong here, which is why my show last night, my post-fight, wasn't so much about the fight. It was about what was happening around the fight.
Happening around it. Yes.
And I wanted people to see. I talked about them keeping the damn cameras on Teofimo for another 45 minutes after the fight was over. In a bullshit fight that he was supposed to win against nobody. We didn't even fucking know the guy. Okay? But when Devin Haney went over there to Australia and they tried to pull everything they could to make it difficult for this man to become the undisputed champion, as soon as he won the fight, they was like, that's all, good night, now football. Where was his fight interview? Where was they following him into the locker room, taking photos with all his belts and everything, and interviewing his dad, who is a hell of a man, nothing like this person that parents Lopez. They're like night and day people. I talk about this all the time, and people do not want to acknowledge it, but it is true. Bias, prejudice, bigotry, 1000. ESPN leads the charge in this. And they got two Sambos sitting right over there, former fighters, who are leading that charge for them. I was getting it, boss. Yeah, you. Get the hell out of here with that. Isaac Dogboe won a fight a few weeks ago. Boxed his ass off. Took the last couple of rounds of the fight and fought like he had never fought before. Pulled out a victory in a damn close good fight for him. As soon as the fight was over, they was like, and the winner is Isaac Dogboe. And they take the cameras off and went to another sport or whatever. When Shakur defeated Valdez, they did the same damn thing. And that was for a unification. They announced him as the winner, and then they went on and they took him off the air. Where was the cameras following him and giving him an in-ring interview, or his trainer, or following him to the locker room, taking photos of him with his belts? He literally sat up there and told the man he defeated prior to the fight, during the week leading up to the fight in the press conference, just don't cheat. I don't like cheaters. You got the clip, Drew. He says, I never cheated a day in my life. But you did. You did cheat. And Shakur said it in your face. And you damn near had diarrhea. Because he kept it true. These are the kind of things, like I said, we're becoming so much more. And I believe that the reason that Shakur can say things like that is because he knows there's a platform that will embrace him. Some of the guys are a little hesitant. We don't know, but they don't realize we're here for them.
Shakur knows because he responded to somebody who will remain nameless that wasn't talking right by him, who will remain nameless. And salute to my bro, Kano Loco. Great job this weekend, brother. Salute to you and Combat Toolbag. You know what I mean? We don't jump ship over here. You know what I mean? That's family right there. Salute to you, Kano. And let me say this, to piggyback on what the sensei is saying. The landscape is changing. Let me point something out. Now, the brother said that Devin offered, what's his name? He offered what's his name's opponent money in hand, and he refused it. They really tried to. They did. They were successful in wrecking an event that the middleman wasn't going to get 100% of.
There you go. Right
That's
there.
what they did.
You just articulated it perfectly.
And the landscape is changing. They said, you remember when Eddie Hearn said, fights aren't made on YouTube. Fights aren't made on social media. We almost made Devin Haney and Gary Russell to the point where ESPN was talking about it. And it was started right here. Oh man, fights aren't made on social media. Yo, Bud versus Errol, that started it on social media. Black did that. I want y'all to understand that. Landscape is changing. Everyone in here follows Blue Blood Sports. He just signed Brian Norman the other day. We get in the exclusive as to what happened with Tevin Farmer and Mickey Bay. That was from Blue Blood. Y'all understand? Y'all understand in Vegas, Fury said, I didn't want to talk to certain media. Well, we could say it now. You know what he was talking about? He didn't want Blue Blood in the fucking room. Do y'all know that? I didn't know that till we got to Vegas. He said, yo, he didn't want me in the room. I said, why? What you think? Where were we when D was warming up? He was specific. He said him. These motherfuckers know exactly who we are. And I'm not only talking about LDBC, it's everybody. It's everybody. They know who the fuck we are. So now Blue Blood, he signed Brian Norman, y'all. The foot's in the door. All we got to do is speak on what's happening. That's it. And that's all we've been doing. And we've been speaking on it impartially. That's them pushing an agenda. That's old media. And what Stormy said is absolutely right. They follow and speak up who they want to speak up on. Dog Bay won. Good night, everybody. Devin Haney made history. Yeah, he won. Good night, everybody. Let me tell you something. If it went to the cards and it was announced that Cambozo won, he'd be on every ESPN telecast since that day. He'd be on it right now. He'd be at that
video interviews and everything, constantly bringing them back on the morning shows and all of that. Where was that for Shakur?
They would be doing that. There was nothing. Shakur got disrespected. Dog Bay disrespected. Devin disrespected. Devin just last night was offering money to make an event happen. Now, of course, it didn't follow through, but there's a bit of chaos, and they see the landscape changing. They see it changing.
And by the way, in that fight against Valdez, Shakur was the embodiment of Nazim Richardson's quote of swimming without getting wet. That's what he did that night. And now he's getting ready to take on another opponent, Consecal, that people thought beat Valdez. So he getting ready to fight that guy. And what you gonna say after he swim without getting wet against him?
They're gonna tell him to go up and fight a fucking heavyweight. That's what they're gonna do. Because once you become unstoppable, they start picking people that might stop you 2 weight classes above. Salute to Playboy Plays in that super chat. Much love. He said Gary Antoine versus Tio. Listen, I don't fuck with Teofimo at all. I don't have a short-term memory at all. I don't have short-term memory. And even if he apologized, I don't care. And he was still talking last night. Did you hear ESPN?
Oh yeah.
Did
Don't
you
get me
hear?
fired up again.
Bro, did they call him former undisputed?
Yes. Yes.
Bro.
Yes. And did you hear them say that they were setting Haney up for Lomachenko to get the belts back? He said that last night too.
This guy, Teofimo, this is what makes me sick. And you see, when people, you could be a fan, you could support a fighter, but you gotta draw the line at dumb shit. For example, I will defend Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s in-ring career against a lot of bullshit. Don't talk to me about that shit outside the ring, though, because I can't. I won't. That's what was so hard about having a debate about him, because it always was, well, he beats women. No. Focus on the fight. Oh, well, he's ducking fights. Okay, he fought and beat Manny Pacquiao. Now what do you want? And it's always something else. I can't defend the undefendable.
But see, let me tell you this. This is my view on someone like Floyd. Someone like him, because there's others like him as well.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of talking about him, there are history pages full of other fighters that you can have consideration for and whose merits and accomplishments are equally as good, if not better. We're not talking about a record of 49-0, 50-0. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the entire body of work. And you can also include with some of those fighters the character outside the ring as well. So why not give credit and attention to that requires and deserves that, instead of that does not? You understand? It's as simple as that.
ESPN had Ryan Garcia at number 6 at 140, in which the ESPN had him, or a particular sanction.
They had a list of 140 pounders, like 10 of them, and they had their records up there and everything, the names of the guys, and they threw Ryan in there as well.
Ahead of who? Because I didn't look at it.
They weren't like numbers 1 through whatever. It was just 10 names that they put on the screen with their records.
But who is it? Okay, so if he was 6
there, and Zepeda was the only one, I think, that out of the entire list that had 2 losses on his record. Everybody else either had 1 loss or was undefeated. And what I said about that list is this: how in the hell is any of that meaningful when they ain't even fought each other?
He just got there. I thought he was at 135. What the fuck? You see why we can't pay attention to this? You see why we can't
does this stuff. This is why I went in last night, bro. This is why I went in. I was on ESPN's neck last night. They should have the bottom of my shoe print on the back of their neck, because I was on them. You know what I'm saying? They keep talking, and then it's like every week the shit gets worse. You keep saying this.
Damn.
It's like, it's ridiculous.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Do you remember who? If he was 6, who was 7, 8, 9, and 10? Do you remember?
Well, like I said, it wasn't in a specific numerical order, but I just had it up on my. If you give me a moment, I'll pull it back.
Yeah. I want to see that. I must. I don't know. I probably had to go take a shit or something. I don't know what the fuck was going on. What? Divine Sense, what's good, Brody? Oh my God, Ryan shouldn't be on no list at 140. Oh shit, should he be on the list at all? What belts is Ryan held? Has he held any belts? Did I miss that?
Okay, check this out.
Uh-huh.
They said notable welterweight fighters at 140 pounds. They've got Arnold Barboza Jr., who has a record of 27-0 with 10 KOs. Jack Catterall, who's 26-1 with 13. Ryan Garcia, who's 23-0 with 19. Teofimo, who's 16-1 with 12. Sabria Matias, who's 18-1 with 18. Regis Prograis, who's 27-1 with 23. Jose Ramirez, who's 27-1 and 17. Gary Antoine Russell, who's 16-0, 16. Josh Taylor, who's 19-0 with 13. And Jose Cepeda, who's 35-2 with 27. So those are the names that they put on the screen last night.
Oh, I'm about to throw up. Where does Ryan fit in anywhere in there?
Yeah, and where does Teofimo fit in? No place.
Well, guess
and
what?
The only ones who have fought each other are Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, Jose
Catterall.
Ramirez, and Jack Catterall.
Right.
You know, and basically that was Josh Taylor fighting all of them because he ended up the undisputed champ. But the rest of those guys ain't fought each other.
I hate boxing. Why are we talking boxing? What are we talking about this for? You know, Black was right the other day. We spend more time dissecting the bullshit instead of actual fights.
This is, listen, I keep saying that. I keep saying it's just that Black, he may articulate a different way, but I'm like, dude, this is why you think sometimes I just sit there, I hold my head, I'll be like, man, I don't want to talk about it because it's ridiculous.
But you know what? If we don't point out, my boys, right? They're not into boxing like that. Like out of my core group of friends that I grew up with, I was the only person that was into the sport, right? So now it's kind of like in their face where they go. So they call me and they ask me certain questions, and I tell them, look, I don't know everything, but I can refer you to places where you can get your information from. And I never refer them to the bullshit places. I refer them to you, Stormy, everybody else, Divine Sense, everybody. I refer them to everybody else, right? He asked me about Ryan Garcia. He said, yo, is this kid a fighter? That's the first thing he said to me. And I said, I guess. He said, well, what does he do? I said, well, he don't do shit. He said, what belts he hold? I said, none. He said, I have a picture of him with a belt. I said, man, pay that shit no mind. People get them shits made. They're like, wait a minute. I don't recall like seeing him get promoted on a pay-per-view. My friend is a casual. And he's thinking of belts, pay-per-views, and Floyd Mayweather shit. And I said, this kid has not sold a pay-per-view. He has no belts. And yet, he said, I saw him bounce around with Damian Lillard on a Gatorade commercial. I said, exactly. They said, well, what is he? Who is he?
Nobody.
I said, thank you. I said, bro, I wish I was recording this conversation. I said, thank you. I said, he's fucking nobody. He's fucking nobody. He is.
Drew, did you see last night? They conjured up 2 belts to bring to the ring for Tio. What was that? What was that?
What were those?
Devin Haney is undisputed at 135.
What were those?
IBF something and some other belt, but like some kind of international, intercontinental. What? You don't need a belt to have a fight on television.
Yo.
And ESPN and WBC and the WBA, they are known for doing that stuff, creating a belt just so those little hussies can stand up there and stand back there smiling next to the ring announcer holding a damn belt that don't mean a damn thing.
Do you keep, when you win a belt, do you keep a copy of the shit in the house? Do you get to keep it? I don't know. You get to keep replicas of your shit, right?
Listen, Evander Holyfield, back when he was trying to become the heavyweight champion of the world and Mike Tyson was undisputed, he became #1 in each of the sanctioning bodies organizations. And he was the Intercontinental, WBC, IBF, WBA, but he never wore no damn belts to the ring. He came in there being announced as that because he was the #1 contender. That's what they used to do. Now they will put a damn belt on you just because you're having your 5th pro fight. Look at, aren't there pictures of Ryan Garcia out there with belts? Where the hell did he get those from? He ain't beat no world champions. He hasn't even been in a world championship fight. But why does he got a strap on his shoulder in post-fight, in the ring? There are photos of him with belts on. So when your guy says, hey, man, is this guy a champion? Has he ever been on pay-per-view? The answer is no, and more no. But this guy is out here, and this is what they're promoting. Bullshit. And it's like, what? Okay. And remember, people, I'm going to say something to really bring it home. When they do bullshit like that, it makes it difficult to look at people like Devin Haney and Jermell Charlo, who are the fucking real champions in the world.
Come on now.
If everybody has got a belt on, you're diminishing the accomplishments of the men who really stuck their hands in the shit.
Come on now.
So what is that? And when these men are out there, you don't even want to put guys in the ring with them. The guys who you are protecting, who got that certain complexion. You don't even want them to get in the ring with these guys because the difference in talent alone is so wide. It's as far as the East is from the West. And they're really gonna show you. So you don't want that to happen. So you carve out a niche in the back alley and you bring in guys like Triple G to have a belt to hold on to. You carve out a place in the alley for a guy like Tio and a guy like Ryan. But how about this? Tio and Ryan, they're so horrible. It's hard to pick a winner between the two of them if they were going to fight each other.
Which is why they're going to sell that fight to us. That's the
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, what they going to do?
I'll tell you why. Because they both serve a certain purpose. And by process of elimination, which is making a fight between them, you're killing off some of that they're trying to help keep things alive and to thrive in the sport. They'll rather have those guys facing off against a new guy from some part of the world that you ain't heard of, who might have a record of 27-1 or 27-2 with 18 KOs or 20 KOs.
So it's more lucrative to keep those fools winning. Well,
yes.
Tio knocks them up.
That's the new game. That's the new game. And in the meantime, they don't mention Shakur. They don't mention Devin. Okay? And they won't mention the guys that they should be talking about, especially on a network like ESPN. Because remember, the world-class leader in sports, right? Don't matter if they're telling you the truth or not.
Yeah.
But when it's on their air, it's like, okay, it must be true. It's on ESPN. You see why it's so important for us to maintain the integrity and to be a united front. Yeah, there's channels out here that don't like this channel and don't like that content creator and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, people, you need to get off of that bullshit. You need to get off of that because you could be so much better and do so greater good and things in this boxing. You have no idea what
Cook,
you are
Stormy, hold on 1 second. I got to take this call. Cook.
Yeah. But that's what people need to come to realize. And people don't realize it. They're just too busy in their own ego and everything. I don't know everything. But I keep my eyes open and I keep my ears peeled out to hear and listen what's going on. It's important to keep your ear to the ground and know exactly what's going on.
Brother John, my Jonathan Simon said last night was like the NABF and the USBA back in the day, the marginal titles. Remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, Divine, check your Instagram. Check your gram. Remember that? The NABF and the USBA? Oh, look what I found.
But one of these kids is doing his own thing. Now it's time to play our game. It's time to play our game.
There you go. Holy shit.
Put Jonathan Simon's comment up there, Drew.
The last one or the
Yeah.
Let me scroll back up. The one I just had up there?
No, it's about last night's championship.
This one?
No, he
said
it
something.
says it says 6:58 p.m. on mine, so 7:58 yours. But he's saying I thought championship fights was 12 rounds, Stormy B. Last night was a 10-round fight.
That's right.
But they had belts. You see?
And brought him to the ring. And got people confused. And you know that should be a rule. If you're not a champion, don't be bringing shit to the ring.
Thank you. But see, this is what I'm saying. When you do stuff like that, right, it takes away from the guys who are supposed to get the shine.
Yeah.
But guess who are the guys that's not getting the shine? They look like you and I. And that ain't what they want. They don't want, but I'm sorry, they still are there. They are the men. Tell me I'm wrong about what I said about Devin. In everything that he faced to become the champion that he is today, when the fight was over, they signed off and went on to something else. Why in the world did they hang around with Teofimo for another additional 45 minutes last night off of that BS? Somebody explain that to me.
Oh, I can explain it. Let me play this for y'all. Y'all remember when Teofimo said this?
Hey, Devin Haney made a comment, trying to make whatever it is. But at the end of the day, Devin, you don't know. The WBC is not going to have you, even if you do the competition, they're not going to have you fight for the title. You can get mad at everything. I'm fighting for the title after this fight, for the IBF. And then after that, me and Loma for all four. And where are you? You're not going to get a shot, bro. And you don't know that, but we do. And that's what we did. I'm not going to fight more fights. So it is what it is, man. Talk what you got to talk, my dude. But at the end of the day, you're not becoming the world champion at 135.
Spilled the beans.
And you know what that makes me think?
And he got the nerve to talk about there was a fixing for him versus Cambozo. No, stupid. All you had to do was win. You didn't win.
That makes me think about fighters like Richard Comey. Did he really give himself up? It's possible. Nicholas Waters, where's
he been?
Still don't even know where he is, right?
Where is he? I was trying to get more ahead.
Benefited off of that? Because didn't they start calling Vasily Nomaschenko or something like that after that victory?
After
because
that
Nicholas Waters was stopping other people, wasn't he? He halted Nonito Donaires' career.
Yep.
Nicholas Walters was a damn good fighter. But again, Vasily, he just kind of quit and never fought again.
That was his last fight, wasn't it?
Far as I know.
He fought to a draw prior to that against the Spanish kid, and then fought Vasily, quit in the fight, and I haven't seen him since. The Axeman. Where the fuck is he? He's probably 250 pounds right now in Jamaica, just chilling on his few $1 million. Robert says, yep, Loma was his last fight. That kid he wasn't even 30 years old, was he?
No.
So what the fuck was that?
Again, it is for someone else to be able to remain and be in the loop of things. And who benefited that time? Vasily. Over Comey, Teofimo. And remember, that Teofimo soundbite came before he fought Lomachenko. So there has to be some truth to the fact that they were freezing Devin out. They were freezing him out, but it's just that Teo got diarrhea of the mouth.
Yep.
And got a tin can for a ticker, and he wasn't able to hold up his end of things.
I just found it interesting. Teo's talking about the world was against him and all this other weird shit he said in that article. Meanwhile, he just said, I'll play it for y'all again, man. The world was against him and Kambosos and the business, and did he just say Devin Haney is fake or some shit, and he's man-made and all this other bullshit? Meanwhile, this is you.
Devin Haney made a comment, you know, trying to make whatever it is, but at the end of the day, Devin, you don't know. The WBC is not going to have you, even if you do the competition, they're not going to have you fight for the title.
Now, wait a minute. They're not going to have you fight for the title. Now, wait a minute.
If Teo is privy to conversations like that, which are mired in some actual fact, imagine what kind of conversations took place about Deontay Wilder.
Boom. Because he sat right up there with Akim Barak, called Deontay, stop being a bitch, get back in the gym. You got too much time on your hands. Nothing like that can happen. But he's saying it happened to him. And he legitimately lost to Kambosos. When he didn't knock him out in the 10th round, he blew it. I said, if Kambosos get out this round, he's still up. And he got off the floor and finished the fight, and he won. And he won round 12. He won it. All you had to do was win, stupid. And guess what? We officially knew that Devin Haney was never on your menu. And now you threw Suleiman under the bus with this fucking interview. You couldn't shut the fuck up. And they made you pay for it. See, that's what this complaining and shit is about. Because he thought that as long as I got to round 12, I was going to get the nod. He lost so bad. He lost so fucking bad that they said, yo, look, we can't give him this fight. They're going to be riding in the streets. We can't give it to him. We got to do the right thing here. And then all of a sudden it's a conspiracy against me, but I'm playing this shit for you. Which was about a year and a half before that fight even happened. If Pump Fake was a person, you'd see him and his dad in the dictionary like, that's them motherfuckers. Then your neck blew up. You know what I'm saying? Your lungs collapsed. Then we found out 2 days ago your elbow was broke. Your father really said your fucking elbow was broken. Y'all ever bumped your elbow playing ball somewhere?
Check this out.
Can you move your arm?
With all of those, and I said this last night, with all of those ailments and everything, what the hell are you boxing for?
Thank you. What are you doing?
What the hell are you boxing for? But how about this? This is the ultimate right here. He turned down the rematch against Kambosos.
Thank you. Who the fuck is turning down the rematch against Kambosos?
He turned the rematch down. So
You know
sit
why?
down and shut the fuck up.
Now I'm torn. I'm like, maybe Teo didn't take Kambosos serious, which is why he won. Now I don't think so. Now I think Kambosos boxes his face in, and he was in the article talking shit about him. My thing is this: shut up and fight.
You can get mad at everything. I'm fighting for the title after this fight, for the IBF. And then after that, me and Loma for all four. And where are you? You're not going to get a shot, bro. And you don't know that, but we do. And that's what we did. I'm not going to...
You don't know that, but we do, and that's what we did. He's talking about him in the WBC, y'all. You don't know that, but we do. And Stormy's right. Imagine what kind of conversation they had in reference to Deontay Wilder. Divine Sense in the motherfucking building. Salute, man.
What's good, Divine?
Yo, I just want to thank God for this opportunity. But at the end of the day, I'm still the champ. And they took the belts off of me. And they designed this. They basically don't want a guy like me to be on the top. My esophagus blew up one day before the fight. I tried to tell the commission, they didn't listen. Somebody threw a fucking banana peel into the ring. That's why I slipped. Kambosos didn't knock me down. It's all set up, but at the end of the day, I'm undisputed. And I'm coming for Josh Taylor. I'm going to make sure I get all those belts. and you know, me and my dad, we're gonna take over the world.
What the fuck?
Drew, cue up that picture with him and Canelo right about now.
Oh,
But one of these kids is doing his own thing. Now it's time to play our game. It's time to play our game.
wait a minute. Are y'all looking at Canelo's face though? He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Look at his face. Look at Canelo's face, y'all. What the fuck?
But one of these kids is doing his own thing. Now it's time to play our game. It's time to play our game.
Who the fuck told him? Yeah, hey, Theo, go up there and stand next to Canelo with all your belts, man. Canelo's trying to shine. He just won officially. He really won undisputed. Canelo he's trying to have his moment, and here come this motherfucker. And he's standing like, what the fuck? And he don't want to be rude, but Canelo's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this kid? What the fuck? You're gonna see something special.
And feel.
Oh my God. Fail. Goodness. Yo, man, your thoughts on Teofimo Divine Sense, bro?
You know, I commentated on the fight live, and anytime I commentate a fight live, you know, I approach it in an unbiased way. I understand that a lot of people come to the channel that are casuals and they come from all across the world and they're just coming in to watch a fight. So I try to approach it in a way to entertain people, you know what I mean? And, you know, Teofimo, as far as the fight, just real quickly, he's supposed to win. That's what people have to understand. He's supposed to perform well. He's supposed to knock this dude out probably quicker than what he actually did. As a matter of fact, he never did knock him out. Let's make that clear. Right. It was stopped. Okay. And how his performance, yeah, it was good enough. I mean, he needed that. If this shit would have went 12, it would have put people in a position where they're scratching their head, right? So how much credit do I give him? I give him credit because he was supposed to win. It's not like he was in there against a champion fighting for a real belt. This intercontinental, international, whatever the fuck belt they were fighting for. All that was a publicity stunt to put a belt on his shoulder to make him look like he's still a champion. Right. That's all that was. So usually I start cooking after the fight, when my post-fight thoughts.
Right.
And that's what I did. And I reminded people that, look, man, all of this backflips and doing dances and all that, shaking around and all that other bullshit that he does in the ring, try to do that against Gary Antoine Russell. Try to do that against any top 7 140-pounder right now. That shit ain't gonna work. And you know, it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, Drew, because it's like, I believe that you have to understand when it's time to be humble, right? It's okay. You're a young dude is he from Brooklyn or the Bronx?
No, he's from Florida. Fuck that.
Okay. I knew you didn't want to represent that, but supposedly he's that kid, right? That has flair, that comes from New York and this and that. And okay. But then you dropped the ball against Kambosos. That was your moment of reality. And you would expect him to come back and be like, you know what, man, I need to be focused. I need to be better, right? And he continues to not get better in that area. He continues to be the same Teofimo that was disrespecting Bill Haney and Devin Haney. He's the same Teo that was disrespecting Wilder, and et cetera, et cetera. He's the same person, y'all. It's going to take him to get knocked out. And even then we don't know. even then. And the most ironic thing that you mentioned earlier, Drew, and Stormy as well, is for me, in regards to Teofimo, in the beginning, I was like, all right, young, explosive dude. He's got some knockouts. Okay, when he beat Lomachenko, one thing that I knew is that he's got a short gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
If Campa was able to take the punishment or do a little bit better as far as having punching power, which he clearly didn't fucking have, he was trying to win the fight on volume.
Right.
And Teofimo wasn't deterred by the punches. That's why he kept punching on the inside of Campa's punches and trying to land big power counter shots. So I noticed that Teofimo fights in spots. He explodes in these spurts, right? And that's because he knows he's got a short gas tank. Kambosos beat Teofimo because Kambosos had a better gas tank.
Volume the whole fight.
Right? So Kambosos he ain't got no power. He's able to knock him down, but he doesn't really got no power.
Right.
That's why I point at Gary Anton Russell Jr. He's got tank. He's got a tank. He's got endurance, and he's got power. So that is a huge problem. And nobody wants to mention Gary Anton, right? Nobody wants to mention him at all. You're blowing up. ESPN, they're like, oh, we want to see Teofimo against Josh Taylor. That's the fight to make. And I'm like, Josh Taylor got he got Jack Catterall problems.
Exactly, and both of them whoop Teo's ass. I'm gonna say that right now. Josh Taylor will stop Teofimo. And hey, look what just slid into the building. Hold on, look what I found, y'all.
They're so retarded, man. I mean, nobody knows shit about boxing, man. You know, like Triple G and Canelo and all these guys, they're bums, bro. They're bums. You know what I'm saying? They're bums, bro.
No, but
because
let me ask you.
they gotta go in the inside to throw their punches and connect. You know, why you think Floyd destroyed Canelo? Nah? Because Canelo's an inside fighter. Lomachenko's an inside fighter. All these guys, Triple G can't do nothing unless he's inside. All these guys are inside fighters. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you stand still and you're faster than them, you're quicker than them, you're smarter than them, and you know what they're gonna do before they do it, they freeze. That's what we call it. The phrase is freeze.
Push the weight and no flex. Push the weight and no flex.
But one of these kids is doing his own thing. Now it's time to play our game. It's time to play our game.
You can't trust that motherfucker. Okay? 3 years ago, he was talking shit about Canelo. Canelo has a great night, becomes undisputed for real. And what does he do? Tio, go grab your belts and stand and take a picture next to Canelo. I bet you Canelo didn't know that he talked shit about him. Somebody need to send him that shit. Canelo, you know about this? Keep this guy Teofimo Sr. away from you. Matter of fact, keep all of them away from you. You don't want their shit crumbs. They're fucking two-sided shady shit. You don't want that loser shit rubbing off on you. You got your own problems named Bivol. Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? Are you serious? This is ridiculous. Teofimo, depending on what Top Rank decides to do with him, he's an ass whooping waiting to happen. He's an ass whooping waiting to happen. There's people right now, we mentioned Gary Anton. There's a lot of people around 140. Listen, if 135 was shark infested, because remember, you got all those marbles with one fight. And you didn't even want to get that last belt from Devin. You played games, my friend. You got those marbles with one fight. A fight that we said you was going to win anyway. Because Loma's overrated. So if 135 is shark infested and you can't make 135, now you're talking about 140. Catterall beat your ass. Prograis beat your ass. Josh Taylor beat your ass. Gary Antoine will beat your ass. But he's calling out Ryan Garcia. I don't even know what you're going to do with Barboza. Are you going to take that fight? I don't know.
Drew, there's one name on there too that you didn't mention that I told you that was on that ESPN list. Zepeda.
Oh.
Zepeda ain't no joke, man.
Yeah.
He ain't no joke.
All of that dancing in the ring, it looked nice. And if you were seeing Teofimo for the first time last night, you was impressed. But that dude was what?
Yeah.
Made to order. He was made to order. That's all it was. He had no punching power. And Devon is absolutely right. If he was able to get into the championship rounds, he was probably more than likely hoping to win off of volume. If he could take his punch and just smother him with a bunch of punches so it could look good, maybe it'd make the fight a little closer. Maybe he could squeeze out the win. Who knows? But I'm not sold on T.O. because he already showed me who the fuck he is. Nothing's changed. And all that shucking and jiving and dancing that he did in the ring. Is he doing that to George Kambosos? No. No.
He almost dropped the ball against Lomachenko. Lomachenko came back in that fight.
Yeah.
If that was a 15-round fight, Lomachenko would have won that fight.
I didn't know Loma was going to throw a punch until round 6. No one knew.
Yeah.
no one knew.
I want to paint another picture real quick. Why is it that we get somebody like Gary? Because this is what we talk about all the time, and then we get accused of race baiting and y'all bringing in drama in the sport. None of this stuff exists. It exists because you talk about it. Okay. Once again, we continue to ask questions that don't receive answers. So I have another one.
Go ahead.
Why is it that Gary Antoine Russell Jr. gets nitpicked every time he gets a victory? They nitpick the shit out of him, right? And when he gets a victory, they give him a 2-minute interview and they say, well, thank you for your time, Gary, but you did good, but it wasn't that good. So we'll see you next time. Tio, because he's able to do these extravagant carnival moves like backflips and shit, next thing you know, he's going to start doing the splits. That motherfucker start doing the splits, bro. I promise you, it's coming. They give him all this shine and love and talk about how many more belts he's going to conquer. They're out there massaging his shoulders and shit. So my question is why? Why are they nitpicking a man who just lost his father and comes in there and did what he had to do? And yet, when you talk about Tio, you like, why wouldn't you want to talk about him in the conversation of fighting Gary Antoine Russell Jr.? What, Gary hasn't deserved it? You're going to go straight to the top to Josh Taylor. And if Josh Taylor beats Teofimo's ass, then it's all good. What? We're going to try to figure out a way to cover it up again. So that's the problem with boxing is 2 steps back, 1 step forward. 2 steps back, 1 step forward. Conveniently covering shit up to, display a certain image, if you know what I'm saying.
Where's the media ripping Teofimo Lopez for all these excuses he's making? I swear to God, let me read what he said. It's underlined, boxing scene. In fact, he has gone as far to say that there was conspiracy against him in that fight. That's what he said. Lopez says loss to Kambosos was a scheme. Haney-Kambosos outcome is already made for Haney. Okay? This is what he said, man. This is what he said. And I don't see anybody.
Yeah, where are those journalists who were all over Wilder, for making excuses, even though Wilder didn't make excuses, but they accused him. This man is legitimately making excuses, and they haven't said diddly poo.
They haven't said a goddamn word. He's been on a fucking tour since he lost.
Matter of fact, the excuses have increased.
Yeah, they've gotten worse. Deontay said, yo, man, I got poisoned. Where's the toxicology report? This motherfucker said he went to the hospital. How about this? Where's the hospital? What hospital he went to? I know goddamn every fucking hospital in New York, especially down by Madison Square Garden. Where he went? Lenox Hill? I want to see the documentation. Because y'all know documentation beats conversation. Let me see the report about his throat collapsing. Let me see the shit with his lungs. Who's your doctor? Can I get him on the show? What the fuck happened? And why was he backflipping with all those ailments? Why is he backflipping in an empty fucking movie theater? He did the backflip, but the cameras wasn't on. But people were there saying, yo, he did it. Why isn't he?
After the fight, what wasn't he in a hookah lounge smoking on?
He was in a hookah. He was before and after the fight. I heard. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I know he was there. Yeah, said the broken elbow. Can we get the X-ray on that? Can we get that? Can we get any of that? But no one's asking. No one's drilling him about that. Why? Because why? Because what? Wait. Okay, I understand. Because it's Deontay Wilder. He's a piece of
busted esophagus. His lungs was collapsed. You know, I want to really hear the real report about his ripped rectum. That's the one
that's the report I want to know about.
Huh?
You know what happened?
Oh, don't do it.
You know what happened?
Don't do it.
George punched him in the ovary. George punched him in the fucking ovary and fucked him up.
Hey, Tio's dad's coming for you, Stormy. Tio dad is coming. Get me on the show. Get me on the show now.
Let him come.
No, we just asking for proof. Because Tio told Deontay to shut up, quit being a bitch, stop making excuses, and get back in the gym. That's what he said.
This is true.
So where are all the people telling Teofimo to shut up? It's been a year already. Shut up, stop making excuses, quit being a bitch, and get back in the gym. What's up with that? Get the fuck out of here, man. He shit an egg after he got punched in the ovary. You see, we got to be consistent. Where's the consistency? If D got to shut up, you got to shut up. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about?
But, Drew, there's a difference between asking questions and being told by numerous of sources around you and providing evidence of that compared to pulling shit out of your ass.
Hey, guys, I'll be right back.
Difference. Right. So people need to understand that, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, Drew, right? Like, you know, the same people that turn a blind eye to Tio making these dumbass excuses are the same people who attacked, and I use that word wholeheartedly, attacked Deontay Wilder. When he fired Mark Breland, YouTube went into a frenzy. It was fucking chaos. They bring out their pitchforks, their nooses, and everything for Deontay when he fired Mark Breland. You think we forgot about that? And who became a part of it? If you came out here and said, well, hey, man, at the end of the day, Mark Breland's an employee. He did something that Deontay Wilder couldn't accept. It is what it is. If you had that type of stance, then you can get hung with Deontay.
Yeah.
We coming for you too. Doesn't matter. Obviously, it doesn't matter what color you are. Either you're on our side or you're on that side. And if you're on that side, you can get hung with his ass. So now what we're saying is, remember that one time when you wanted to come in and crucify us? Where's that energy for Teofimo?
There is none, because this motherfucker's Storm is correct. His excuses got worse with each passing month. Oh yeah, thank you, Todd. Didn't he say he had COVID too? I forgot about that shit. It's the COVID. He got the COVID. He got monkeypox. Yeah, LeRon, I'm gonna hit you as soon as I'm done here, brother. As soon as I'm done here, brother. Yo, I don't take Tio seriously. I can't. I didn't forget what you did. And you looked good last night against someone you're supposed to look good against. That's what Top Ranks does. Yep. You know, the matchmaking shit, they do that. Y'all remember Cameron Duncan? Do I need to play the Cameron Duncan interview for y'all? When he was in the barbershop talking to Fred, do I need to play that for y'all? When he told y'all that board exists and how they keep certain fighters away from black fighters? I didn't say that. Cameron Duncan said that. Mickey Bay said he wished that he stayed with Top Rank because of their matchmaking expertise. Mickey Bay said that. Hey, man.
Hell, even Bud might return to Top Rank.
Bro, if
that's
Bud
the new rumor out there.
Top Rank.
The new rumor right now is Bud. He's already dropped the lawsuit. We know that. He already dropped the lawsuit, and now he's considering on going back. That's what I heard.
Bro, if he drops that, okay, he dropped the lawsuit.
Yeah.
If he goes back to Top Rank, y'all already know where I'm going with that. Because, and I'm cooking on that tomorrow, by the way. Bob confirmed that he was working with Daniel Kinahan. They were partners. That's what he used. But he can't confirm that he was working with Tyson Fury. Are y'all fucking kidding me? Bud. God damn it, Bud. My brother Mo boxing in the building. Salute. Say big up,
Dropping
Drew.
those pounds.
Salute. You dropping those pounds. For real. Alfred, what up, bro? He says no matter what Tio and his dad says, Tio lost because he was butthurt. George turned Tio into a prison hole. That's what happened. Early stoppage last night. Yeah, I think dude had enough heart. I don't think he'd have won the fight, but I think he looked like one of those guys that'll get a second wind. You know, if T.O. ran out of gas, he'd have got a second wind. I don't know if he'd have won, though. And plus, that's another thing that, you know, I saw it last night, but I ain't paying much mind. He
was busted up.
He was busted up pretty bad, but it was a 10-round fucking fight.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It was a 10-round fight. Further proof that there was no belts. I don't know what the fuck that was. He brought to the damn ring. That shit is aggravating, man. But this is crazy, man. This is some repugnant shit. I hate boxing. Boxing don't like us. This is some bullshit. But what I do appreciate is people are waking up because things are swinging in our direction. Because everything that we talk about is proven to be true. There's people from the industry coming over here. You know, Cameron Duncan saying that in the barbershop, that was key information. And if y'all missed it, y'all need to go to Tate Jones' channel. Did y'all know he had an interview with Steve Espinosa just yesterday? Did y'all know that? Y'all need to go watch that. I've never seen Steve Espinosa anywhere on YouTube unless it was like one of the, like it's a ESPN or DAZN. You know, Fight Hype's kind of big. Well, not kind of. They're very big.
Fight Hub.
Steve Espinosa, yeah, they'll give Fight Hub. They'll give him, and those are the big guys. You know what I'm saying? But for Steve Espinosa to talk to Tate Jones, what is that telling y'all?
They want to get the right information out there.
They want to get the right information out. Thank you.
Right.
They want to get the right information out. So now this is Steve Espinosa, y'all. Steve Espinosa. So y'all got to wake up, man. This is some serious shit. We are changing, man.
And I'll tell you this, if y'all listening and we tend to have these people that listen to us, Drew, that punch air. They can't comment in the chat and shit, and they get upset. And if you're one of those people right now and you're a Teofimo Lopez fan and you think we're talking shit, all I'll say to you is this. The only expectation that I have of Tio was Tio's going to be Tio. I ain't trying to change the dude. The dude's going to be who he is, whatever. But he got his Pedro Campa fight out of the way. No more Pedro Campa fights. That's it. No more.
Nope.
So he talked about, I couldn't make 135 anymore. They were weight draining me. He literally said they were weight draining me. Not I was weight draining myself. They were forcing you to be at 135. Well, now you're out of 135 now. You avoided Devin Haney, right? You don't got to worry about Devin Haney no more. So now you're at 140. You literally went from a ocean of big fish. Now you're in a fucking swimming pool of big fish.
Yep.
So no excuses. The next fight you have needs to be a top name. A name that people will actually give you credit for. You don't get no fucking credit for Pedro Campa other than, okay, he's back in the ring now. Great. You're supposed to win. You did that. That's it. And my question for all the Teofimo Lopez fans is very simple. If you're truly a fan, are you going to criticize your favorite fighter if he goes in and fights another fucking Pedro Campa when he fights again at 140? Just as much, when I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan, Drew knows this from years of watching me.
Yep.
When Floyd fought Andre Berto, I said, man, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit. That's a quick pick-me-up fight. Oh, because Andre, he just beat whatever the fuck it was, Victor Ortiz, so I can't remember what it was.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. So I call it. You know, it doesn't matter how much I like Floyd or any of my favorite fighters. If it's bullshit, it's bullshit. Right? And that's why I have so much respect for Devin Haney. Because Devin Haney is trying so hard to get the best fights possible. And now it looks like he's going to be forced into a rematch with Kambosos because nobody wants to fight him.
And let me park here for a minute with Devin. Last night, Devin actually had on his promoter's hat, and he was going to put money in the pocket of a fighter, and the fighter declined. I'm putting a link to Tay Jones' interview with Espinoza last night. Very informative. Underrated Darkness, salute. Mike Biggs, I see you. Yeah, salute Playboy Plays. He says, shout out to Devin for trying to save this fight. And he did the best he could, man. And let me say this, man. You know, this man, Devin, this young king, is really what the sport is supposed to be about. Right? Last night, he was literally putting his money where his mouth was. He did the best he could to save an event. This was cash money. Y'all don't believe me? Go to Blue Blood Sports TV. Blue Blood was right there documenting everything. And I said, oh shit, he ain't had to be doing that, but he did it. And look at what happened with Tevin Farmer and Mickey Bay. There's a lot of stumps in this road, and it's deeper than what you think it is. Now, what you have here is these YouTubers. Now it's funny, they could big up. Now you see Devin, he's undisputed, youngest undisputed champion, right, in history, in the 4-belt era, right? He was about to drop a substantial amount of money, I'm not sure how much, to preserve a fight last night. No one's talking about that, but they were about to, charge y'all about what, $50 for Jake Paul versus Hakeem Rockman Jr. And if Jake Paul had won, Mauricio Suleiman said he was going to start ranking him in the WBC. Y'all understand what I'm talking about? Now, I'm not even, and what I told you was just truth. I'm not even taking shots at Jake Paul, because Jake Paul did an event and took $1 million and gave it back to everybody on the undercard, not including Tommy Fury. So we all say, yo, applaud. That's a good thing. But why is it that he's getting credit for that? And then you see Devin Haney putting in work, people ducking him and shit. All right, went out to Australia, completely the underdog. They didn't let his father in the country until the 11th hour. They stopped his cut man in the fucking airport. He goes up there against all odds. None of us said he should have went over there. We would have been fine if he said, fuck it, I ain't doing that. We'd have been perfectly fine. But they'd have been ripping him right now to this day. It's been 6 weeks. There'd have been some fool in here talking about, oh, Devin Duck, Devin Duck, Devin Duck. I'm telling you. We went over there, boxed this dude's face in, right? For 12 rounds. He didn't win one round. All right. Now he's over there trying to preserve a fence with money out of his own pocket. Nobody says anything. But they want to shove Teofimo and Lomachenko. You see why we can't? You see why I don't get behind Lomachenko? You know why? Those fighters don't need our help. Okay, I like Josh Taylor. And I'll give him his props when it's due. But Josh Taylor doesn't need my help. He comes into the game with the silver spoon in his mouth. He don't need my help. Lomachenko don't need my help. Tyson Fury don't need my help. They're running around on this soil defending him. They're defending him and calling us crazy, knowing his history. And again, we're still having the last laugh. And by the way, that shit ain't over. We're still having the last laugh because whenever an American gets on their high horse, when they get, when's Fury's next fight? Oh, he's retired. Oh, well, this is like the 7th or 8th time he's retired. And by the way, Mauricio Suleiman said he's giving him until the 26th. to make sure he's retired. But anyway, what do you think his next fight is going to be? Because he ain't going to be here. He can't fly here. Well, why? Oh, you don't know why? He can't fly here because of something he's done. He can't even come to America. His mansion hasn't been cleaned.
Wilder's crazy.
In 3 months. But Wilder's crazy, though. This man has been rolling around in the mud with Daniel Kinahan. And for those of you assholes that claim you don't know, just Google the name Daniel Kinahan. There's only one. That's the guy. Y'all want to talk about how Al Heyman's some sort of criminal? But Tyson Fury, the WBC heavyweight champion, was rolling in the mud with Daniel fucking Kinahan. And then Bob Arum wants to tell us he doesn't know about their relationship. He just got a picture with him. He said, hell, I got a picture with him. Yeah, you do. But you was cool with him until America said, we putting a $5 million bounty on his fucking head. Now all of a sudden you're cooperating. Tyson Fury has his last fight in the UK. You didn't attend. Wonder why. Could you even attend? Could you attend? Could you get on a plane? You got more than enough money to disappear.
How about those
Drew,
consulting fees?
It's serious too.
How about those
because
consulting fees?
Whatever.
Hold on, Divine. Hold on.
Yeah.
Salute to Mo Boxing with those pounds back. He says, big up to Devin Haney. Hashtag Yalla Wakbar. Hell yeah. And salute to him. And salute to all my Muslim brothers. Macadon, I see you. Go ahead, Divine.
Now, I was just going to say, whatever Tyson Fury and his family's involved in, that shit's serious because it went all the way down the pipeline because even Tommy Fury, who may not even have anything to do with whatever the fuck Big Daddy Fury's doing, it affected him to the point where he couldn't come into the States and fight Jake Paul. Even Tyson
No one talked about that.
Tyson Fury's kids probably can't even come to America. Whatever they did is some serious fucking shit, people. Y'all need to wake the fuck up.
And they're still working on matters because they're getting ready to have this woman, Savannah Marshall, fight our champion, Clarissa Shields. And I am worried about that fight, people. I am worried about that fight, people.
And I want you to speak on that.
About that fight, people.
Hold on. Salute to my brother Trill Will. He's 87 away. Get him to that 1K. Let's do this as a family, for real. And there go morning. Art hostage there. Salute.
Art hostage. Salute.
Stormy, speak on the severity of the Southern T. Salute, my brother. Savannah Marshall versus the GWO, Clarissa T-Rex Shields, man.
Well, the whole point of it is this. You know, she hasn't challenged any of the other top women fighters out there like the Hannah Gabriels or Christina Hammers and stuff like that. And, you know, I was thinking about this, and it's interesting that you asked me this question because I just kind of want to put something on the table. Her whole career is basically built off of having that amateur win over Clarissa Shields. But in the amateurs, she wasn't knocking women out like she does in the pros.
Now listen, y'all.
Now, in the pros, she's been stopping women, but she appears to have some power that is kind of unnatural. Because remember, we talk about women's boxing being 2-minute rounds, but she's hitting women with something that is like kind of like it's weird. It's odd for a woman. I mean, we've watched fighters like Amanda Serrano knock people out. Sinisa Estrada, she can knock people out, but it's a little bit different than what Savannah Marshall is doing. But Savannah Marshall has also taken to not fighting outside of her country. That's a red flag. Secondly, she's got a couple of Furies in her camp, which is Peter, and there's another Fury that's in her camp. And what's his name? Lee. What's his name? The former fighter, Andy Lee.
Andy Lee.
They've all been around, but her fights have also been against opponents who haven't been given the opportunity to have full training camps against her. So she has adopted doing what we've seen some other questionable people in the sport of boxing. They have a ritual of they they announce a fight, they sign for a fight, and then they pull out with an undisclosed injury, and only to have the fight rescheduled for a later date. This is typical of someone that's cycling on and off with PEDs. Now, with Savannah, no one's looking at her like that because she's a woman. But if you go back to the Germans in the Olympics and everything, they were doing this the entire time. And people were not really versed on it until it matriculated over into the sport of boxing professionally, and then people start popping and stuff like that. But you have to understand that the fight is supposed to take place in the UK at the O2 Arena. But they were really trying to get the fight to take place in Savannah Marshall's hometown over there. They were really trying to squeeze the bottleneck on this entire thing. And the only reason it's taking place at the O2 in the UK is because Clarissa is willing to come over there and handle the business. But this is not going to be something that's on the level. And I want for anyone that's out there that have watched what happened with Deontay in that trilogy with Fury, this can be repeated, people. Yep. And guess what? It won't be on the U.S. soil.
Fury got COVID. Let's not forget. Remember, he got COVID.
Yes. Now, Savannah pulled out of this fight, which is why she couldn't even come to New York to promote the fight when they were supposed to be around when Katie Taylor and Amanda were fighting a couple of months ago. She was supposed to come here and help promote that fight. She still couldn't come here in the aftermath of that. No fly zone. Why? Because you're on that list of names of people that are tied up into this thing.
Did ESPN say anything?
They haven't said anything yet. They're not going to. But I'm telling you, it looks to me like Clarissa is being built up to be a sacrificial lamb here. And it has nothing to do with me thinking that Savannah Marshall is a better fighter, because she's not. But what a trophy. What a trophy for the degenerates of boxing. And when I talk about the degenerates, it's the unseen hand that pulls strings, that has the money and cash to get things done. You just heard Conor Loco talk about what they pulled on his fighter, Combat World Toolback, over this past weekend, and he's very, very small fry. And they did that. You just heard the Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer fight get canceled at the 11th hour over some things.
Crazy. That's the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Exactly. So imagine you got Clarissa Shields with the accolades that she has as a champion going over here into the pit of corruption, because it's been allowed to manifest over there. It really has. And you have to be concerned. You have to be concerned. You have to be concerned. I keep repeating because I want to drill it home what you need to be looking at. This has nothing to do with skills and ability in the ring, because if it did, Savannah Marshall would have losses on her record already. They are angling towards something here.
They're trying.
If they can take down two of the U.S.'s most iconic fighters over the past decade, that's a feather in the cap for them. And there's no one going to stand up and fight against that corruption. Art Hostage is out here in the chat. He can tell you that money stretches far and wide.
That's right.
It does. So people need to be prayerful. They need to be watchful and have their head on a swivel about this fight. But I am so concerned for it because of the corruption in the sport. Remember, when Franchon Cruz Discern fought against, what's his name, Drew? Franchon fought
Oh, against Jaime Munguia Jr.
Yeah, and you know, what did Suleiman say? What did he say? Something quite similar to what he said about Fury.
You bully her. You bully her because she gay, and I know her since she gay, and she has a child. She's a woman, and you're just trying to ruin a historic night
in boxing, just like he said about Fury against Wilder, right?
Yep.
Same thing.
We said, oh, there's a problem. She's trying to grow a dick. There's a problem right there.
Right.
Did he apologize?
Never apologized. No. And how long did Franchon have to wait to get her titles returned to her?
About like
out of the
4
corruption.
months.
What do you think they're going to do to Clarissa? I'll wait. Just sit back.
Alejandro. That's who Franchon Cruz was fighting her. Art Hodgson says Peter Fury has employed Liverpool gangster Peter Clark, who has just been released from a long jail sentence for drugs. Peter Clark is in camp with Peter Fury. Now, what the fuck is he doing there? What the fuck is he doing there? Does Peter Clark has any ties to boxing any fucking where?
Why isn't this headline news? Why isn't it headline news? If Deontay Wilder employed a former gangster into his camp, they would say, ban him from boxing.
Man,
ban him from boxing.
See, this is what, and you know what? American fight fans, a majority of them, I would say 70% of American fight fans are casuals. They're not on it like how we're on it. And these are just real questions. It really has nothing to do with race. We're just saying, what the fuck is going on? We're asking, what the fuck is going on? And we're asking old media, yo, what is this? And they're not saying anything. So when we say it, because we're not on the leader of sports, we're not on TV with the shit, we're just the YouTube guys. But like I said, things are switching. Blue Blood just signed Brian Norman Jr., y'all. Steven Espinoza just did an interview with Tay Jones, y'all. And you got fighters doing interviews with us and telling some of us to shut the fuck up. You understand? Y'all click that link to find out what Art Hostage is talking about. And y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to my brother Trill Will. He's 87 away. Let's get him to that stack. Yeah, you know what, Southern T, you know, she is too good, but all of a sudden, this bitch got all this punching power. Man, I hope Clarissa go in there and she shut the front door on her ass. Jermaine Bean in that super chat, much love and appreciation. He says, keep on punching, Drew. We all on a job, man. We're here to tell the truth. And like I said, like everyone's been saying, we're talking more about the bullshit in boxing than actual fights. You understand what I'm talking about? Why the fuck we gotta talk about Ryan Garcia? He ain't done shit. This is ridiculous, man. And show love to my brother Mike Biggs. Me and Mike Biggs, I met Mike Biggs in junior high school. He's from the Bronx. Fuck what you heard. Support and subscribe to my brother Mike Biggs Boxing. He back on the grind. No doubt.
How the fuck is Ryan Garcia gonna get more accreditation than the undisputed champ Devin Haney? Somebody fucking explain that shit to me.
Bro, I will never understand that. I will never understand that. How does that make sense? Ryan fucking Garcia? My boy called me up. Matter of fact, Mike, you know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about Sekou. That's his cousin, my best friend. He was like, yo, who's Ryan Garcia? He called me on the phone. I was like, yo, Ryan Garcia, is he nice? I said, nah. I was like, nah. I was like, why does he ask me? He's like, yeah, you know, because I just saw him on the Gatorade commercial, you know, with Damian Lillard, and they hitting the bag, and then I went to Google and I see him, you know, posing with belts. You hear that? Posing with belts. That's what he said to me on the phone, Mike. Posing with belts. And I said, yeah, they got you. You would think he's nice, right? He's like, yeah, he gives me this Oscar De La Hoya feel. I said, no. The only difference between him and Oscar is that when Oscar was his age, he was what, 2-time champion already? He had like 2 belts by then. He done beat the shit out of Julio Cesar Chavez. Oscar was a fighter. This kid, not so much. Bullshit. Yo, he said, drop that Peter Fury link. Wait, hold on. Art Hostage, drop that link again. It's too far up. Art Hostage, drop that link again. Drop the Peter Fury link. And this is why we got to stay on their bumper, because American media is not talking about this. And this is all information.
Hey.
This is all real information, man.
Hey, Drew and Stormy, you know what we should do? When Ryan Garcia gets knocked out, we should go live and sit here and just stare in the camera for 30 minutes and not say shit. Just look at the camera.
Just click the live button and be like,
We're trying to tell people, man. We're tired of fucking repeating ourselves. I'm tired of
you see
repeating
this shit
myself.
on the bottom? Yeah, I'm gonna put, I told you so. I tried to tell you. So I'm gonna be like, for an hour, I'll be like,
It's a great idea, man. I'm with
yeah.
you.
I mean, I'm being dead serious, man. That's how you boycott the shit. If all the channels out here did that, people would like. Imagine if you're a casual fan cruising around YouTube, and you can put in the title Ryan Garcia gets knocked out, right? People gonna click on it, and you just see a dude just staring at you.
Yo,
right?
yo.
That sends a message, right?
Everyone's gonna go live on their channel. Everyone at the same time. We're just gonna stare at it for an hour, just like this, not say nothing. Just like, and after an hour, I'm be like, yep. After 1 hour, we stare for an hour, not gonna say a word. I was gonna say, I told you so. I'm be like,
Yeah.
Because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Ryan's gonna eventually, the walls are closing in on him. He's gonna have to fight somebody, and he's gonna
who's he
get
beating? At 140. Who's he beating?
That's what I've been asking.
Well, let me pull up the rankings. Let me pull up the rankings real quick. We're gonna look at it real quick. 140.
Remember, I just gave you those names a little while ago.
All right, let's do it. All right, 140. WBA and the WBC is vacant because Josh Taylor had to vacate shit. Okay. Zapata. Nope. Prograis. Nope. Gary Antoine. Nope. Ramirez. Nope. I don't even think he beat Teofimo Lopez.
Matias.
Nope. Ryan Garcia is ranked number 6 by the WBC. Yo, hold on. You know who he fights next? And this is a good fight. Sandor Martin.
Oh,
the motherfucker that retired Mikey Garcia. Fight him.
Hey, if he fights that guy, we will be going live doing what Divine just suggested. Does anyone here think that Ryan Garcia is better than Mikey Garcia?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And Sandor did what to Mikey? Made him go out to pasture. That's it. He's like, I'm done. I ain't got it no more.
Yep.
Nope. Sandor Martin will box, and that's a great fight for Sandor. That's a great fight for him. That fight will put Sandor on the map. He's Spanish. He's from Spain, right? That kid is from Spain.
He's from Spain. A real Spaniard.
Real Spaniard. He will fuck him up. Yo, salute to my brother Underrated Darkness. Y'all go subscribe to him too. Everybody that does content, put your link in the chat, please. OTB, you do the same, brother. I think Sandor Martin whoops his ass. I'm for the shit. But I'm looking
Sandor
at
whoops Teo also.
I think so. I don't think
and I gotta say this too, man. After Virgil Ortiz won and Ryan Garcia won not too long ago, for some odd reason, I get all of these message requests on Instagram. You know how that shit go, Drew.
Yeah.
You check your message requests, and then you see motherfuckers in there saying, you know, I don't understand you motherfuckers, man. All you black dudes and white dudes always hating on the Mexicans. Why are y'all talking shit about the Mexican? I mean, shit, flooded in my fucking request. I'm like, nobody out here hating on Mexicans, bro.
Come on, man.
Nobody out here hating on Mexicans, man. But like, explain to me why Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, and it just so happens these Mexican fighters getting much more accreditation than other fighters out here.
I'm wondering. I'm trying to remember. Didn't me and Stormy and God rest the soul of Batman? Didn't we do a top 10 Mexican fighters? Did we do that? And salute to Kurt Sugar. I could have swore I did that on my show. Did we? If not, we could do it again because I just want to. But to those channels that are doing the same shit, that are talking that shit to you, Divine, and to me or whoever, how many of those Mexican channels did let's pay homage to the black fighter? Because you know what? You're gonna need more than the top 10, motherfucker. You're gonna need about 100. Okay? So cut it out. Don't play that bullshit. I've gotten on here and I've given props. Yes, because the more people that talk about it, the more it's gonna get out. Do it now. Run it. Because I'm on that bumper tomorrow morning, bro. Run it, brother.
And Omega Red in the comment is correct. As much as we have poked fun at Oscar De La Hoya, nobody comes close to Oscar De La Hoya,
bro,
that are Mexican Americans right now.
Look at Oscar's resume. Never mind the fact that he's American, but whatever. Y'all could claim him. It's okay. Andy Ruiz is American, but y'all could claim him. It's okay. I fucked with Oscar when he was a fighter. I did, because look at Oscar's resume. I don't recall him. Yo, Stormy, did Oscar, did he ever duck anybody?
There were some fighters that, he did duck, like Freddie. He ducked Freddie.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, okay.
There was a chance for him to fight Freddie. He didn't look to fight Frankie Randall.
True.
But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't hold that against Oscar, because sometimes in your career there'll just be some guys you don't face. But Oscar did face a number of fighters. I mean, he fought the likes of Obakar and so he, Ike Corte. So
man,
let's put it like this.
Something else, man.
With the guys that Oscar did face, he's a legend compared to what these guys are doing today.
Yeah.
And basically Oscar was just dutifully fighting who you want to see the top guys fight. Even his match with Trinidad took a little while. It took a couple of years, you know what I mean? They didn't go 5 years like Manny and Floyd did, but it was about 2.5, almost 3 years that fight could have been made.
Yeah.
And it finally
I think Oscar got robbed in that fight.
But the thing about it is they only fought one time. We should have seen at least 2 matches out of that matchup. You know what I mean? So, but I won't crap on Oscar at all, man. I will, leave what his outside the ring and his whole promotional thing and what he does, that's in the sewer. But his boxing career, hats off to the guy, and Olympian and everything. You just have to give it up for him in that regard. But some of these guys, and please, like when you say your boy was like, oh, this guy gives me, thoughts of De La Hoya, nothing close.
Nothing close.
I
got
only the complexion.
Yeah, that's it.
And the nice hair.
Hair, that's it.
But that's about it.
We appreciate Oscar's boxing career, but then this shit not so much.
Why won't Jojo fight Haney? Because Haney hasn't been promoted right. He has. Who knows Haney here? I would rather do Ryan Garcia versus Jojo Diaz. So just be happy with that.
What else?
I do believe.
The dumbest shit I ever heard. The dumbest shit I've ever heard. Ever.
Word up, 88. We fucked with Chris Arreola too. I had high hopes for Arreola. I have high hopes for Arreola. You know, he just didn't pan out, and that's okay. I still fucks with Arreola. That's okay. But did you see that bitch face in the picture? He was with her last night. And
yeah.
Whoa. Holy shit. They both look crazy. They both look nuts. Are you kidding me?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Man, listen. You know, okay, I don't care about what he does in the bedroom, but Oscar was a warrior in that ring. I'll give him that. And Ryan Garcia is not even Oscar.
There's a high possibility that Oscar, you know, towards the end of his career, he basically had this like fuck you attitude, fuck it attitude. Like, I did everything I could in this sport, so I'm gonna do lines of coke and I'm gonna have orgies and I'm gonna dress up like a woman and fuck what you guys think. Like, okay, well, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that's why we have to. Floyd's no different. You know what I'm saying? As far as his boxing career and what he did outside the ring, you got to separate it. Separate it.
Omega Red said, I thought it was a transformer. You know what? These days, you never know. I mean, look at her.
Why won't Jojo fight Haney? Because Haney hasn't been promoted right. He has. Who knows Haney here? I would rather do Ryan Garcia versus Jojo Diaz. So just be happy with that.
And he still didn't fight Jojo Diaz because Jojo Diaz would have snatched his food and broke the plate over his head. This guy's horrible. That face is horrible. That woman looks, you know, you can't call people women or men anymore. Where the fuck is we at as a society? I don't know what's going on. I'm moving to the moon, y'all. The air's better. It's better up there. It's some bullshit. But yeah, man, that was some bullshit. Salute to Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer. I'm so sorry they had to go through that. I heard Mickey, he said, man, this shit is just flat out embarrassing. They were embarrassed that do you understand what they were about to do, y'all? They were going to fund their own pay-per-view. They were going to fund it themselves. Devin Haney flew in and was about to save a fight with money out of his own pocket. They were doing it. They were doing what we want these fighters to do. And the industry, for reasons that they can't explain, stopped it. Do y'all understand that? They were trying to do what we wanted these fighters to do. They cut the middleman. There was no middleman. The middleman was saying, yo, look, if we allow them to rent this venue and do this, they're going to make X amount of money, and we're not going to. What is our cut? Zero. All the popcorn, the hot dogs, the hamburgers, the sodas. They're getting that. So what can we do to stop that? No. We ain't going to foot the bill for shit. We're going to make it hard for them. Y'all remember when Jay-Z got into the business of boxing? He was in and out, right? Remember when 50 Cent got in boxing? He was in and out, right? In and out. Here today, gone today. It's a joint effort. It's not over. I would suggest Mickey Bay sit down with Devin and, sit down with Blue Blood. Like I said, y'all, if y'all didn't know, Blue Blood signed Brian Norman Jr. They're doing some things behind the scenes. So what we're seeing right now, this is a pivotal point in history in boxing, if it's nurtured correctly. Now, for all you YouTube channels, I don't give a fuck how you feel about me or any LDBC channel, whatever. You need to look at what's happening and think of what's for the greater good. Because a lot of shit that is not that we say should be happening isn't happening because of the business. Do y'all understand that Bud and Errol is not signed yet? We're still hearing things like optimistic. That don't sit well with me.
Making
optimistic
progress.
And being confident is two different things. Optimistic is saying, yeah, I'm looking at the cup half full instead of half empty. Confident is saying, you know what, in the next week or so, I think it's going to happen. I'm confident. Difference. It's not signed yet. But if there was no middleman, because there's no top rank, all right? PBC is involved, but are y'all ready to start understanding that this is not happening because of Bud's dealings with you know who? Is anybody else talking about that?
Listen, man, on my Friday night show, I brought my Thunderous Top 10, the updated version out. And at number 1, where Bud held court for a while on my list, he's been booted. He's been booted off the list in its entirety. And that number 1 spot, that one spot is vacant because it is now time for the rest of the guys to sort things out, and there'll be a new, number 1, and then someone will get a chance to break in to the list. But Bud is off that list forever because he has been consistent in his disobedience to being true to the sport and himself. He has done enough to convince me that there is no reason whatsoever to put any type of faith or stock behind what he's doing in the sport of boxing professionally. The only ones that can do that and not be frowned upon or shamed upon or whatever is his family. That's the only ones. But if you are a true boxing sage, forget about that young man. And I can call him a young man because he's young enough to be a son of mine. But this is not being said with disrespect. It's not being said with hate. It's being said with sound mind. You cannot continue to go through life effing off and then expect to point fingers in other directions. Accountability is everything. And it doesn't matter whether you have millions in the bank or pennies in the bank. You see, and that's where people need to understand.
And I don't think they
do this to yourself, you fix it yourself. But again, there's no coming back. I closed that door because I have to hold a certain amount of integrity for what I do. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So think about it. I've always talked about lead by example. Mm-hmm. And that's what that is.
And you see, I'm glad you said that, man. And I want y'all guys to think about something. Nobody, all right, we can't blame Errol for this. We're done with that. You can't at all. What else could it possibly be other than what we discovered? With Art Hostage, he filled in the blanks, did he not? He filled in the blanks because we was trying to figure out, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? Errol has been completely professional. He hasn't said anything about it. All right? And now Bo Mack was talking about, hey, man, we waiting out for 50-50. Bro, stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. All right? Here's the deal. Bud would be doing so much better if he just buckled down about a month ago and said, look, I got tied up in some bullshit. I didn't know what was going on. And, it got fucked up. So before I do anything in the ring, the U.S. sanctions have to figure out where my money came from. I didn't do anything. Okay, I didn't know about that guy, but I was following Bo. Bo was following Bob. Bob was rolling around with Daniel. He severed ties with him, and we just left there holding the bag. Like, oh shit, we didn't know. That's all Bud had to say, and we'd have understood. We'd have been like, okay, well, that's what it is. He's not ducking. Errol's ready, but it's unfortunate. Okay, we would be blaming Bob. I wouldn't even be blaming Bo Mack because Bo Mack was doing what he thought was in the best interest of Bud. But watch this. That's me being nice about it. Because the other side is, we spoke about this before. Y'all know Herring don't fuck with them no more, right? There's also a chance that Bud knew what the fuck was going on. And Stormy broke it down for y'all. He may have known this whole time. Which is why he's probably still holding on to hope like, nah, we still holding out for 50-50. The jig is up, man. This doesn't make any sense. 2-fight deal. 60-40, you whoop Errol's ass, you come back and 60-40 his ass.
That's it.
This is the same shit we went through with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. The difference is the records are better. That's the only difference. You're dragging along the audience, and what's happening with Bud is a lot of people are just looking at him strange now. Like, yo, look, I was fucking with this guy, but I don't understand this shit. And you know what? As we reveal what we feel it is, has anyone proven us wrong yet? Because all we know is the fight's not signed. And nobody can explain exactly why. Nobody. Are y'all ready to fucking listen yet? Y'all ready to listen? Come on now. I want the fight. I want the fight. Stormy said Bud whoops his ass. That skill for skill, that hasn't changed. But the fact that it's taken this long and nothing's happening, Bud is not being honest with y'all. I firmly believe that, and that's unfortunate. Art Hostage hit up Bernie. I think he hit up Bernie. No, he hit up Bud on Twitter, and he asked him politely about the shit, and Bud hasn't responded. And I think Bernie did a live a week ago. Somebody asked him in the chat politely, "Yo, is it because of this? David can't even." And y'all know Bernie answer everybody. He didn't say anything. Dump, dump, dump. So what the fuck, man? And mind you, I don't want. You think I want Bud to be in trouble with this shit? No, absolutely not.
I want Earl to go on with his career. I want him to go forward with his career and do exactly like he's been doing. Go forward with your career. Whenever you're ready to move up to the next weight class, you do that. But leave this man behind.
Yes.
You see, listen,
I agree.
A lesson needs to be learned from the Wilder Fury circumstances. You see, Wilder, out of the kindness of his heart and being a good-natured man, gave someone who didn't deserve the opportunity. And you see how it ended up, right? Hindsight being 2020. So now, with a lesson on the books, show us that you learn lessons, that you don't have to repeat what others have done, and you don't have to stumble where others have fallen when you've looked in the pit and seen the bodies, build a bridge and cross over the pit.
The fact that Spence hasn't moved on yet tells me that he cares about legacy.
Yeah.
That he's willing to continue to wait for Bud to pull his fucking pants up. That's what it tells me.
But he's dealing with a person with faulty character.
And character's everything, yeah.
You guys have heard me talk about that, right?
Yep.
Character.
Yep.
See, how do you say, Stormy, that Bud has faulty character? He has given more consideration to people who are unlike himself than people who are like him. That's bad.
It's hella bad.
Because who do you think you're better than? And who are you submissive to? You shouldn't be submissive to anyone, but you should submit unto those who have something good for you. The people who want to embrace you, you spat in their face and told them to kiss your behind. Well, we've learned that lesson. I've learned the lesson. That's why you're not on my list no more, huh? And you won't be back. That's a lesson for anyone else out here who might be a little bit confused, because I can lead by example and I can walk it just like I talk it. But for what he does, I wouldn't want to be a part of that. That's why I say, Earl, I support him going forward with his career. The belt that Bud currently has won't forever be around his waist. If this fight doesn't come off, there's a damn good chance he won't be able to fight for that belt anymore. And Earl will still get a chance to unify against someone for undisputed. But in the meantime, do your business. Be about your business. Because I think shop has closed right here. Prove me wrong. If the fight were really going to happen, it should have happened 3 years ago anyway.
That's right.
Facts.
And that's right over everyone's head. And you see, let me say this. Everyone has 3 mandatories because he has 3 belts. There's going to come a point where he's going to be like, you know what, fuck it. Those people are going to be like, yo, listen, it's my turn. This Bud shit, how long are we supposed to wait? It's my turn. Let me get that. And everyone's going to have to honor that or what? Drop the fucking belts. What's he going to do? Drop the belts to wait on Bud? No, he's going to be like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and fight these guys. Right? There's also going to be a point because how many mandatories does Bud have? 1. And when that guy says, you know what, listen, man, you waiting on Errol, look, it don't look like it's not happening. I want my shot. What happens when Bud says, I can't fight you? I can't fight Errol, so I can't fight you. Why? What the fuck? Wait a minute, what do you mean you can't fight? That's when the shit's gonna come out. That's when it's gonna come out. If this shit ain't worked out by 2023 of October or some shit, or whatever the fuck, L-Dub told me. Bud, I think he don't have to honor his mandatory until October or some shit. I'm telling you right now, if the year goes out and there's no word, and when that WBO mandatory starts saying, yo, look, I want my shot, and if Bud vacates, we're 100% correct. If Bud is not in that ring making some kind of money, ask where he got what he did with that $20 million that he got from Daniel Kinahan. And then ask yourself why Herring isn't there anymore. Salute to my brother, Real Spill Midwest Boxing Talk in that super chat. Much love and appreciation. He says, salute, Drew. Much support, family. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Salute, man. Yeah, man. So this is what we're dealing with here. When Bud can't make no defenses and Errol's done moved on, because you know what's going to happen. Errol's going to have to move on. Everyone will say, oh, look, he's ducking Bud. Just be patient because Bud has a mandatory. And when he tells the mandatory, no, I can't do nothing, y'all better start asking Bud those questions. Go hit up Bernie, be like, yo, what's your man doing? Hit up Bud on Twitter. What are you doing? Hit up Bomac. What's happening, y'all?
Yo, Drew and Stormy, I'm just looking, I'm browsing right now. I looked at Boxing Rec, I looked at Boxing Scene, I looked at Ring, and they all have Terrence Crawford #1 at welterweight. I don't understand how. I don't understand why.
The same reason why we talk about Ron Garcia not being who they say he is. I don't listen to nothing.
Well, this
can't get on my nerves.
I've had him at #1 on my Thunderous top 10 because of the streak he was on, the pound for pound that he was, because my Thunderous top 10 is not a pound for pound list, but it does have a great deal to do with the impact that you have on the sport. When he was fighting, he was putting on performances that were like, okay, you know, he's showing some skills and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But the flip side of that, outside of the ring, his behavior, and that's before all of this other corrupt thing seemed to get attached to him, you start to question character and stuff like that. And so that's when it started to get shaky. And then when this other information started filling in gaps that we didn't have any other means of acquiring the info, it's like, okay, now that made me make a solid decision. You see, this is not an emotional thing that I did. Everyone else that's on that Thunderous top 10 list has impacted the sport of boxing in a very positive way with their performances in the ring. Mel Charlo had fallen off my list for a little while due to his behavior outside the ring, slapping phones out of civilians' hands and treating his fans like crap, being rude to them. Trick Nolte told me some stories about him that he witnessed in person, right there, just standing mere feet away from Mel, and how he behaved with fans, with people who buy tickets to your fights, who tune in when you fight on television. And that's why he had fallen off for a while. But after his performances against Castaño and becoming undisputed, his talent and ability and his achievement in the ring cannot be denied. So you have to understand, I am not making emotional decisions here. I'm giving men credit for what they do in the sport. Bam Rodriguez popped into the Thunderous top 10 at number 10 off of his performance over Soren Ringside. So it's like, will he remain? That remains to be seen according to how he performs going forward. But everyone else, Artur Beterbiev, Naoya Inoue, Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson, all of these men have performed in a manner of which they really hold the sport of boxing up. Every time that they go out, they give you what you want. And that's what we're here for. We're not here for that other stuff that this guy is doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he's been ousted. And that's how people really need to handle how they take in the sport of boxing. I said the same thing about these officials, judges, and referees. I'm very consistent if you look at how I do this. And I'll tell you, if more people took the same stock, we could really turn a corner in this sport because it's about accountability.
You see that? Now, we're almost in September, y'all. There's no announcement. And I want y'all to understand, we got an announcement. Technically, we don't have it ironed out yet. But apparently, Deontay's fighting in October. Apparently, we don't have an exact date yet, but that's the hard rumor. We got, 3 or 4 fights to end the year with? So if Deontay's fighting, you got Ortiz and Ruiz fighting, and a couple of, you got the GOAT fighting Savannah Marshall. You got that going on. And although I think that's free TV, these are things happening. Everybody was supposed to be patterning their fight dates around Bud versus Errol because we just knew it was going to happen between August and the end of the year, preferably November. That's what we thought. But everyone's saying, no, fuck it, man. We got to take these dates. So where does Bud and Errol fit in at? Nowhere. It's not going to happen. So you see Keith Thurman sitting there. You see Virgil Ortiz sitting there. You see Boots sitting there. Holy shit.
Earl Spence got a lot of options. He don't got to wait for Bud.
Mad options.
He don't got to wait for Bud.
He don't. Look at this
That's
shit.
why I was saying what I was saying. He can go forward. And like I said, by the time he takes another bout, the stuff with Bud is going to present itself. He's either going to get stripped or he'll get in there and defend. But I don't think he's going to be able to defend.
Because he can't work right now because his $20 million is tied up and they don't know where that money came from.
He can't make the fight that he needs to make right now. So if Earl can fight, Earl should fight. Leave that dude alone. Then watch the smoke clear, and then the belt will become available and he can fight someone else for it.
I'd pay money to see him fight Keith. You know, I know he said he wouldn't give Keith a shot, but if he's there, I think he'd fight him. I'd pay to see that. I'd definitely pay to see him fight Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis. If it just comes about like, yo, look, Bud's taking too long. I'm fighting Boots on pay-per-view. You can forget it. That's going to do just as well. Boots, if I was Earl,
I would go ahead and fight Virgil Ortiz right now, who's ranked number 1 in the WBA. And the reason I say that is look at the WBO. Virgil Ortiz is also number 1 for the WBO. So you take care of Virgil Ortiz right now, whatever Terrence Crawford does, basically he's going to be fighting Spence's leftovers. So you continue to degrade Bud's performances. You continue to force Bud to fight you, basically.
Now I want you to see something. Well, I know you see it, but this is what I hate. You see Stanionis right there? What does he have, a regular belt? WBA regular?
Must be, yeah.
Get that shit the fuck out of here. Why? That's fucking stupid. You see what I'm saying? But that means if he has a regular, that puts him ahead of ranked number 1 Virgil Ortiz. I don't care to see him fight Stanionis. Stanionis got get the fuck out of here. This is some bullshit.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what Bud will do. You know what Bud will do? Earl will fight either Keith Thurman or Virgil Ortiz, maybe even a Boots, you know, someone credible like that, a true mandatory, Terrence Crawford will probably go on and fight someone like Cody Crawley.
It's like a video game character, man.
Who's like number 6 for the WBO. He's gonna try to just take care of his WBO little belt. Meanwhile, Errol Spence continues to hold 3 belts and fight actual real mandatories.
I want to know.
So you continue to add pressure to Bud, and you see the activity by Spence. This is why Spence right now, in my opinion, go ahead on your social media platforms and set a timer.
Yeah.
And say, Bud, you got until this date and this time to sign the fucking contract at 60-40. We can hash out the venue later, but I need you to agree to this. This is your timer. If time expires, I'm going to fight my mandatories because they deserve a shot. And Bud, the type of dude that he is, he's got too much pride and ego to concede to the timer. And he'll say, let time expire, bitch. And at that point, Earl said, all right, y'all see it, right? Y'all see what he's doing. So I'm going to go take care of my mandatories. In the meantime, he's going to go fight somebody like Cody Crawley or Michael McKinson, right? And y'all going to see it for yourself. That's what Spence should do.
Now watch this, Devon. Bomac talking about they holding out for 50-50, right? Which I think is bullshit, right? Now watch this. Let's say Errol says, you know, fuck you, I'm moving on. Errol has his choice of Keith Thurman, Virgil Ortiz, Stanionis, or Jaron Ennis. All of which we're paying to see because it's going to be in Dallas. Look at the WBO rankings. And y'all tell me, what are y'all paying for? Because Ortiz, Ennis, and Thurman are not thinking about fighting Crawford over Spence. Because it's not worth as much. So remove 1, 2, and 3. Conor Ben has a date already. So you're looking at 5 through 10. Are you paying to watch Bud versus Michael McKinson, Cody Crawley, David Evan-Jensen, Lewis Crocker? Oh my God. You know I don't even know who the fuck these last guys are.
Oh, the WBO is in shambles, bro. It's a fucking... He's holding on to this belt for literally no reason. There's no reason to continue to hold this belt when that's why I can't accept that he thinks that he's got a bigger purse split and he's the A side. How the fuck you the A side when you got only one belt and you got the less prestigious belt out of all four? Out of all four, you got the least prestigious belt that there is. Look at the fucking names in the WBA, bro. Or sorry, the WBO. Look at the names.
After Conor
There's
Ben,
only
I don't know anybody. I don't. Well, I know Michael McKinson, but 6 through 10, I don't know who the fuck they are. Who are they? And you see, Bomac is saying they're holding out for 50-50. Errol could up and say, fuck y'all playing games. And look at the options he has. All the options he has is ranked 1 through 3 in the WBO. And they ain't fucking. If Errol says, yo, look, who wants it? Is Ortiz gonna fight Bud or Spence? Is Ennis gonna be like, yo, all right, well, I'll fight. Guess what? How about this? If Virgil Ortiz gets the Spence fight, you think Bud's gonna fight Jaron Ennis? That's a hard no. All right, Keith Thurman ain't even gonna fight Bud. Because he's like, yo, why would I do that when I can fight Errol for more money? Y'all already know what Keith get down like. And Virgil Ortiz will just fuck around and fight Stanionis. He's like, yo, I'll make the same money with Stanionis I'm going to make with fucking with Bud Crawford. Because Bud don't sell no seats. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm showing y'all what the options are. So if you know what the options are, what's the holdup? The holdup is that $20 million. U.S. is trying to figure out where he got that $20 million from. I would really love to talk to Herring. I want to know if he'll spill it. I want to know why you leave Bomac, man. Just talk. Yeah. I just want to know what happened. Because that was kind of sudden, wasn't it? And he never said anything. Man.
Yeah.
These are just things I'm putting into perspective. Fight's not happening, man. Now watch. again, this is my disclaimer, y'all. I hope I go to sleep tonight and I wake up and bing, the fight's made. That's what I want. But haven't I been saying that for like fucking 2 months now? I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Nope. No.
I'm gonna say it loud and clear right here and right now. Errol Spence is the king at welterweight. You move like a king. You don't concede to fucking peasants. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Bud right now is beneath Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a 3-belt title holder. Period, point blank. He has defended titles, he has won titles, and he has been at the division for the entirety of his fucking career. It is my kingdom. It is my domain, bitch. You're knocking at the gates. I tell you when you come in.
Listen.
That's it.
Damn.
Period.
You articulated it a different way, but I'm with you 1,000%, bro. And it's like, that's, stamp. That's it. The end. Exclamation point.
Now I'm really mad.
On that note, Divine Sense, let them know how they can find you, brother.
You know what it is, man. If you don't know me, you need to come and find out, man. We keep raw, authentic boxing talk over at my channel, man. I put the link in the chat already. Just scroll up a little bit. Come and be a part of the conversation, man. I'm also going to be a part of Knockout Boxing 86 debates here.
Great channel.
Very within the next couple of weeks, we're already organizing it. So I'll be debating somebody. It seems like about Canelo. So that shit's about to get heated. That shit's about to get heated. So stay connected to the channel so you can get updated there. I'm on Instagram as well under Divine Sense Boxing, man. And as always, Drew, if I can catch you early in the morning, then I'm gonna stop by, bro, every time.
Much love, bro. Much love, man. For those of you that don't know, Divine ain't new to this. He's been around for a while. I've been following Divine for over a decade. You know what I mean? That's real talk. Ajuang the Great, you got to be talking about the AJ fight. Well, we're gonna get to it this week. Shit. Y'all might think I'm bullshitting, but I'm gonna try like hell to get AJ on my show. And I got connections. I'm gonna try like hell to get him on my show. If it ever happens, because I'm not promising anything, but if it ever happens, you already know what time it is. I'm not gonna pull no punches. I'm not gonna baby him. But AJ, if someone can clip this and send it to you, you should have been talking to us over here a long time ago. Because we're the audience. And you have a lot, I was gonna say you have a lot of fans over here. I don't know where them niggas went. You had them, but they just stopped talking. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, they disappeared.
But come fucks with us, and we can build you up again, man. Stormy, let them know how they can find you.
Everybody can find me right here on YouTube, man. Stormy B Man is the channel. And if you come there, fine. If you don't, fine. It's as simple as that. I ain't powdering and pampering no damn shitty diapers over on my channel.
That's right.
Grown man shit.
That's right.
That's it.
Everybody that does content, right? Do not hesitate. When you come on in my chat, all of the content creators, make sure you put your link in the chat. I want all my family to grow. There's enough out here for everybody to get it. Understand? You know what I mean? And you already know who I am. I'll be back in the morning. You know what I mean? And
hey, yo, Drew. Sorry, I forgot. I'm probably gonna organize a Firestorm panel Thursday. Will be Thursday night for you guys. So I want to get probably about 8-9 p.m. ish, 9:30, something like that. We'll try to land. I'll be going for 2 hours at least.
Okay.
So you can catch the tail end of it, but I want you and Stormy on there. Try to get Tay on there, maybe Trill. But I want to get out these final predictions for AJ and Usyk. and also chop up a little bit about a few other topics. So I'll be sending out some emails and messages.
No doubt. You know I'm with it. I'll get home in time. You know I'm down. Salute to the Rich Gang.
Come on!
I love that shit. Salute to my stalkers. Salute to Bob Arum.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, Divine, we should do another In the Eye of the Storm, too.
Oh, yeah, that'd be dope.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we
Most
did
definitely.
one. We should do a part 2, you and I. We should get together and work something out on that.
Definitely. Let's do it.
And last but not least, salute to my stalkers.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Bronx on deck. Move!